You are also about to listen to Cleared to Play. It is time to go inside the tent, get you updated on the latest injuries in the Bay. Proud to partner with UCSF Health on this segment and bring you Dr. Brian Feeley. Hey, Doc, what's going on?
Not much. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're wanting to know what you think about Klay Thompson jumping off a rock into some water in Greece. Can you believe this guy?
You know, I just came back from Greece. I don't blame him. It's so pretty. It's nice. His knee's going to be fine, so more power to him.
You want an island drop while we have you here?
Which islands we went to?
Yes.
We went to Naxos and Santorini.
Oh, Santorini is the absolute best. You can't beat the seafood on Santorini, Mark, believe me.
Second
Yeah,
to
no,
none.
it's a pretty magical place.
Yeah, love
Well
it.
played, Doc.
Hey, Doc, we've been talking a lot about Shohei Ohtani for obvious reasons of late. He has left his last few starts with quote-unquote finger pain. What do you think about that? Should an acquiring team be concerned?
You know, I think with pitchers, if they have a history of blisters, it's a problem, especially if they're pitching through it. Realistically, the Angels have been shutting him down, and it sounds like they're going to limit him, but he's going to be able to perform on his next start. The hard part is most of the time when you're a pitcher, even with a small blister, you're going to have a set 5 days off before the next time you throw. But he's also batting. He's also doing things in the field. So if I'm a prospective buyer, or as the case may be for him, a leaser for the end of the season, I'm a little bit concerned, but I could also see putting him in a relieving role, having him come off every third to fourth day, and then having him really focus on the batting and save his fingers until closer to the postseason when you really need him.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one to watch here with the trade deadline, or the lease deadline, as you so accurately put it, less than 2 weeks away. Marco Luciano called up today to AAA by the Giants, but he's got a little injury history with a stress fracture in his lower back. What does that do in terms of an everyday baseball player and the toll that it might take?
Yeah, it's tough. And we've seen a rise of these fractures recently, and there's not a good reason for it, but Joe Panik's had that. A couple other baseball players, including Austin Gomber, played for the Rockies, missed an entire season with it. And it's really something you've got to be careful with, because when you have a stress fracture of the lower back, it's essentially an overuse injury where the bone starts literally cracking, and it can take months and months and months to feel better. And the hard part is most of the time you feel better until you put a lot of torque on it. So like hitting a baseball and really trying to drive with your back leg and swing hard, that's going to continue to irritate it. So hopefully he's had scans that show it's completely healed and his back is feeling good. One of the tough parts about this is you just have to put him out there and see how he does. And if he's doing well, then you assume it's healed and he can continue to progress. But any sign of lingering back pain is something to take really seriously.
So, Doc, what I guess the follow-up would be on that, because he has been back for some time and he is starting to play better and he is now promoted to AAA. But whenever I hear the word back, I think us fans are just, we're always conditioned that this is chronic or something that can come back. Once he is healed, is this something to worry about in the long term?
Not really. I think there are people that are probably at a little bit higher risk anatomically. They can have the part that gets a stress fracture can be a little bit thin and elongated, and those people are at slightly higher risk. But these tend to not be as much of a problem as you get older. So as he gets older, especially if he can play through the rest of this season pain-free, then I really wouldn't worry about it too much for him next year or the years after that.
We were talking yesterday, Doc, and we're going to get into it more about running backs in the NFL and how they're just not getting paid anymore, and how much does the toll of playing running back in the NFL just take on your body from year after year, all the carries and the pounding you get, as opposed to maybe a wide receiver?
Yeah, I know there was a recent article that came out that really said the era of the running back is over, but I think realistically, that's always been the case. You have these running backs that had 2 to 3 great years, but then you have people like Frank Gore who played years and years and years and years at a really high level. So I think it's a little bit of a market correction on running backs, where it's easy for teams to say, well, Derrick Henry, you may get injured this year because lots of running backs wear out. But there's still going to be a subset of them that are probably worth the time, money, and effort to put into it. Now, are they beat up? Absolutely. If you think about a running back that gets 18 to 22 carries a game, plus blocking, that's a lot more contact than a wide receiver. So I would put them more in the amount of contact your offensive and defensive line gets, but at a higher velocity. So it's certainly more risk, but I don't think it's necessarily justified in now saying we're not going to pay running backs, because there's certainly ones that can go out there and perform really well for many, many years.
Dr. Brian Feeley cleared to play with us here on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Doc, I think the normal thought, when you're a very, very highly paid athlete, you're not allowed to go play other sports at a high level in the offseason, unless, of course, you're some sort of a two-sport star. I get that golf is different, but especially since we were just talking about backs, is there anything that the Warriors should be worried about with how much golf Steph Curry is clearly playing?
No, I think it's fine. You can think of it as cross-training, playing multiple sports as a youth. He played varsity golf when he was in high school. We should not be worried about it. And he hits holes in one. I don't think we can complain.
Doc, great to have you, and glad you are back from across the pond.
Yeah, I'm mostly glad, but it was a pretty amazing place. All 5 kids had an amazing time.
Woo!
That's just impressive.
You
right
took
there.
5 kids to Greece? What cost you, $1 billion?
Well, the oldest one thought it cost exactly $1 million, so we didn't quite tell her otherwise.
Okay, all right,
Nice.
good.
A little
Good.
bit less than that.
That's a relief. All right, thanks, Doc. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, the proceeding was sponsored by UCSF Health. Let's get Doc Feeley at the Shohei Ohtani conference. He could chip in a buck or two.
Right.
Greece with 5 kids. Good
Number
Lord.
5.